Toronto, the aircraft flipping upside down on the runway.
That's the last thing you want to hear in an airport is a crash, and that there is kind of scary for anybody.
The plane on its way from Minneapolis, smoking with landing gear pointed up. What we're learning tonight about that crash. At least 13 people are killed in severe weather across several states. More than 1,000 people rescued from floodwater in Kentucky, and relentless wind across the East Coast while a brand new system is taking shape. Elon Musk's Doge team is now trying to gain access to an IRS data system and the personal tax information of millions of Americans. What's standing in his way and what it could mean for your information.
If there's any concerns about there really being a weapon that was used by ASAP Rocky, then the prosecution is going to lose.
ASAP Rocky's fate is in the hands of the jury. Tonight, a look back at the key details in the assault case.
How do you escape the policy discussions?
We try not to wallow in it.
It's a club you literally need to be born into. This President's Day, we're taking you to the yearly gathering of the presidential descendants.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin with the stunning images of a Delta flight out of Minneapolis crashing at the Toronto Pearson Airport. The plane flipped upside down on the tarmac. You see it there. Its landing gear pointing to the sky. Smoke seen coming from the fuselage. At least one wing also appears to be badly damaged or missing. Tonight, first responders say all 76 passengers and 4 crew members are accounted for. At least 15 people are hurt, including 2 people in critical condition. We're awaiting a news conference that could begin at any moment. Everyone on board, fortunately, was able to evacuate. Air traffic control tells other pilots about people outside walking around the aircraft. The cause of the crash is under investigation. There were icy conditions on the runway, and winds at the time were gusting more than 40 miles per hour. Our team is standing by to break it all down. Gio Benitez leads us off.
Tonight, these dramatic images show a Delta plane flipped upside down, smoke pouring out of the fuselage, the plane crash landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Passenger John Nelson shooting this video moments after the crash.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site.
The Delta Regional CRJ 900, operated by Endeavour Air, traveling from Minneapolis-St. Paul with 80 people on board, arriving in Toronto around 2:45 p.m.
We just had a crash on runway 23 here.
Emergency crews racing to the scene, 15 people transported to area hospitals, one of them a pediatric patient, a man in his 60s and a woman in her 40s critically injured. Remarkably, no one killed.
When it came to a halt, everybody is upside down. So there are going to be injuries just getting the seatbelts out and falling to the ceiling and getting out that way.
Passengers seen escaping the aircraft.
Most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
Just so you are, there's people outside walking around the aircraft there.
Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft there's upside down and burning.
Ron James witnessing the smoke from inside the airport.
Seen a bunch of smoke, and then we've seen some fire trucks go, and then I seen a trolley carrying a helicopter, and wondered what was going on. And I got to the door of my plane, and they just said we're not going anywhere.
Fire damage seen along the back of the plane. The airport shut down for hours. And there are already questions about how winds and wintry weather may have impacted the crash. The tarmac blanketed with snow. Winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour around the time of landing. And it comes just weeks after 67 people were killed in that horrific crash over the Potomac between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines plane. And that medical jet crash in Philadelphia that killed 6 people on board and 1 person on the ground. While back in Toronto tonight, this major investigation is now underway. And Linsey, the Transportation Safety Board of Canada will be leading this investigation. The American FAA and NTSB, they're going to be sending crews to Toronto. But Linsey, I've got to say here, the biggest headline of all is that everyone survived, and that is simply a miracle.
You are so
Lindsay.
right, Gio. Thank you. There's still so much more to learn about just what went wrong in the last-minute maneuvers that may have saved lives. For that, let's get right to ABC transportation reporter Sam Sweeney and ABC News contributor, former Air Force pilot John Nance. Thank you both so much for joining us. Sam, let's start with you. What will investigators be looking for as they begin to piece together what happened here?
Well, we're going to begin with the perishable evidence. They want to collect anything that they will disappear from this scene. They're going to take pictures and video and try to understand exactly where the rollover took place, what may have caused that rollover. The tail was ripped off that plane. They're going to pull the black boxes from there. And then, of course, they're going to begin interviewing the crew, the flight attendant, and those passengers on board as they try to put this puzzle together and understand what happened.
It is indeed a puzzle. And John, we know that the airport was experiencing high winds and snow. What are the challenges in those conditions?
Well, there are a lot of challenges. First of all, to keep the airplane on course as you approach the runway and keep it steady, because steadiness is a very big factor. In wind gusts like that, up to 40 miles an hour, that's going to be pretty difficult. You're not going to be exactly all over the cockpit, so to speak, with the yoke, but you're going to be moving constantly. And it also takes interpretation of the conditions. And some of them you really just have to guess at because you don't know if you're going to run into a very wild little gust right over the runway.
And John, in that Gio Benitez report, we heard the radio communication between the pilot and the tower in the moments right after the crash. Everyone sounded rather calm. How are pilots trained to deal with sudden disasters like this?
Well, we're trained to have ice water in our veins. I don't think we always succeed in that, but we certainly have the facade that that's the case. We basically are supposed to just concentrate, and that's what we do, on the procedures that we've been taught. Procedures are everything. They minimize the variables so you can concentrate on things that are not anticipated.
And Sam, that crash scene, it looks certainly frightening. Thankfully, there were no fatalities. What do we know about the evacuation and rescue operations?
Well, this is exactly why flight attendants prepare the cabin for arrival. They tell you to put your tray table away, put your luggage away, close those overhead bins, and put your seatbelt on. And because of those procedures that they do, they were able to get everybody out of that plane. Planes need to be certified. They need to be able to get everybody off the plane in less than 90 seconds using only half those exits. It's why they tell you to put your window shade up. They want to be able to look out the window, see if there's fire, and then they will be able to determine which exits are safest to use. And everything looks like it was textbook here. People left their luggage behind. You only have a few precious seconds to get out, and anyone who takes bags slows things down, and it doesn't appear that happened in today's incident.
All right. Well, Sam Sweeney, John Nance, we thank you both so much for your insight. We'll be sure to come back to that press conference once it begins. Deadly storms across multiple states have made travel a major headache. 140 million people are now under alerts for extreme cold weather, with a new storm now taking shape beginning tomorrow. Kentucky declared a state of emergency after at least 11 people were killed in flooding there. And in the Northeast, now under high wind warnings from Philadelphia to New York to Boston, wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. Ginger Z has the forecast in a moment. But first, Alex Perez reports from Kentucky.
Tonight, the death toll rising from a powerful system that's now wreaking havoc across the Northeast. Winds gusting over 70 miles an hour in some spots, taking down telephone poles in South Jersey, and huge trees all over New York City. This one crushing a home in Queens.
I thought a tornado came through.
This man's car in the Bronx totaled.
It's insane, you know?
In Northeast Philadelphia, neighbors mourning a woman who was killed when a tree crushed her car overnight.
Good, sweet, kind woman, churchly, care for everyone, have a big heart.
In Detroit, icy water inundating homes after a 4.5-foot water main burst open on the city's southwest side this morning. More than 75 people had.
And we want to take you now to that press conference that's happening live in Ontario, where officials are giving an update on that Delta Airlines crash. Let's listen in.
Very much. Deborah Flint, President Pearson, CEO of Toronto Pearson. I've just come over from our Emergency Operations Center, and I'm here to give you a statement on what events transpired here today at Toronto Pearson. First and foremost, there was no loss of life. And this is in due part to our heroic and trained professionals, our first responders at the airport. So the facts of the matter event that happened at approximately 2:30 p.m. is Delta Airlines Flight 4819 from Minneapolis to Toronto, operated by subsidiary Endeavour Air, was involved in a single aircraft accident upon landing at Toronto Pearson. The plane was carrying 4 crew and 76 passengers, among them 22 Canadians. The others were multinational. Airport emergency workers mounted a textbook response, reaching the site within minutes and quickly evacuating the passengers. We stood up our emergency operations center with Delta Airlines and representatives from fire, police, paramedics, security, and our federal agency partners. Again, there were no fatalities. 17 injured passengers were quickly taken to local area hospitals. At this time, we do not know of any of those passengers having critical injuries. We immediately halted further arrivals and departures on our remaining 3 runways. Those runways were reopened at approximately 5 p.m. The other runways are remaining to serve the investigation, which will be carrying forward for the rest of tonight and into the next several days. These 2 runways will remain closed while the investigation takes place. Again, we are very grateful that there was no loss of life and relatively minor injuries. We are very focused on the care and the concern and the passengers and the crew, some of whom have already been reunified with their friends and their families. Others we have in a comfortable place right here at the airport in an environment where they're getting a lot of care and support from my staff. Delta Airlines is also continuing to provide customer care and information for passengers. No airport CEO wants to have these type of press conferences, but this is exactly what our emergency, our operations, and our first responder partners are all practiced and trained for. And again, this outcome is in due part to their heroic work, and I thank them profusely. Our thoughts and prayers are with all. We are providing more information as it becomes available. We do expect there will be some operational impact and some delays at the airport over the next few days while the 2 remain closed for the investigation. And we will be sharing information periodically. For those traveling, continue to look at our website and be in touch with your respective carrier as well. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Deborah. We're going to continue posting Toronto Pearson updates, operational updates on our X account, so be sure to follow us there. Thank you all for joining us.
Pretty short and sweet there at that press conference in Ontario, Canada. Essentially, what we heard at the beginning and at the end, first and foremost, they are so glad that there was no loss of life. There was a lot of support for the first responders, calling it heroic work. She also suggested that the training of the staff is what led to only some injuries, and again, no loss of life. Want to bring back in ABC transportation reporter Sam Sweeney and ABC News contributor, former Air Force pilot John Nance. Thanks so much again for joining us. Sam, let's start with you. Just break down the new information that we just learned here.
17 injured, no critical, and that is good news because there was conflicting reports coming out earlier. Delta saying 18 injured and several had been in critical condition but non-life-threatening, but they seem to downplay those injuries, which is excellent news, including that child that was taken by a helicopter to a hospital there. But again, she points out that that response, the crew, we're now seeing social media videos of the crew getting everyone off, telling them to leave their luggage, leave their cell phones, and just get off that plane and run out. We also see those people who were likely sitting in the emergency exit aisles, helping people out of that plane. It was upside down. There are no slides on this plane. It's a smaller regional jet. Everything went to textbook as far as we know right now.
Yeah, it seems that it was textbook as usual as far as how it played out there. And John, we didn't get any answers about just what caused the plane to flip over. Do you think that it's possible they just don't know yet? How soon could that be answered? Could it simply have been the runway was icy?
Well, I think, first of all, the ethic involved always for any airport leader is to say only the facts that they know for sure. And one of the things you're never going to hear from a responsible individual like that is any speculation of what might have caused the crash. Now, I mean, if it was two airplanes coming together in a collision and that was obvious, then that would be stated, but that would be the extent of it. It's going to be a while. It'll be probably a week or two before even reading out the cockpit voice recorder and the data recorder and looking at all the basic information before they'll be able to have a basic statement. It'll be over a year, I'm sure, before the Canadian board will have everything together and be able to release a full analysis of the different causal factors.
And of course, she did suggest to expect some delays in subsequent days as some of the runways there remain closed for the investigation. Sam Sweeney, John Nance, thank you so much for your time again. There's a potential Supreme Court battle brewing over Elon Musk's reshaping of the federal government. With President Trump's approval, Musk's team is now trying to gain access to an IRS data system and the personal tax information of millions of Americans. Amid mass layoffs involving thousands of government workers, critics are now arguing that without Senate confirmation, his role is unconstitutional. Here's ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott.
Tonight, the White House on the defensive after Elon Musk's team requested access to an IRS system that contains the personal information of millions of Americans, including their tax filings and bank statements. Top administration officials insist it doesn't mean Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency will go sifting through private tax returns of individuals.
I can give absolute 100% insurance. I give you complete and total assurance on that point.
This as the president and Musk proceed with sweeping layoffs of thousands of federal workers. At the IRS, sources tell us 15,000 workers have been identified for possible termination, with tax season just around the corner. And we are learning Trump has fired hundreds of people at the Federal Aviation Administration, just weeks after that deadly crash at Washington's Reagan Airport. The firings touching more than a dozen agencies, including the Departments of Homeland Security, Veterans Affairs, and the Centers for Disease Control. Victoria says she was laid off from the Forest Service in Montana.
I was devastated. I've built my whole life around this. I mean, I've worked for 10 years to get this job. Finally.
She says the layoffs have rocked her whole community.
Down with Project 2025.
Elon Musk doesn't even know my job exists, right? But like, we do a lot. I mean, I'm a public servant, and I do this job because I love it. So, yeah, I'm devastated, and my whole community lost their jobs, and I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Other government workers like Elizabeth Anaskevich, who worked for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, described a disorganized, chaotic process that left her with so little information, she says she can't even file for unemployment.
We were just basically tossed out on the streets, and so that has been angering and heartbreaking. And our pay stopped the day we got the termination letter. So we're all without a paycheck as of Tuesday.
We're hearing a similar sentiment from so many. Rachel Scott joins us now from West Palm Beach, Florida. And Rachel, that sense of chaos and confusion really seems to be a theme here. What are you hearing from other agencies?
Yeah, it is a theme, and it's spreading across the federal agencies. ABC News has learned that hundreds of workers were fired at the National Nuclear Security Administration, and sources tell us that some officials were unaware that those workers who were let go were responsible for managing the nation's nuclear weapons system. And so over the last few days, officials in the administration have been scrambling to now hire those workers back. It's unclear how many tonight are back at work, Lindsay.
All right, Rachel Scott for us. Thanks so much, Rachel. Tonight, the U.S. and Russia are set to begin high-stakes talks to try and end the war in Ukraine. But Ukraine was not invited to participate, and European leaders are now holding emergency meetings of their own, concerned by what they're hearing and seeing. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell.
Russia's war in Ukraine is raging. Nearly 3 long years of death and destruction. But tonight, for the first time, a high-stakes meeting to discuss a possible end to the war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio touching down in Saudi Arabia, set to meet with Russian officials tomorrow. These talks, the first in-person discussion between Russia and the US since the war started. Notably absent from these discussions, US allies in Europe and, more importantly, Ukraine. Rubio accompanied by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. As well as discussing Ukraine, they'll try to lay the groundwork for a future meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. The talks come just days after the two leaders spoke for more than an hour on the phone.
We're moving along. We're trying to get a peace with Russia, Ukraine, and we're working very hard on it. It's a war that should have never started.
Ukrainian President Zelensky visiting Saudi Arabia Wednesday, but he's not invited to the meeting between the US and Russia. Tonight, saying he won't recognize any agreements made without Ukraine, and warning Trump in a phone call last week that Putin can't be trusted. The dialogue with Russia sending shockwaves across Europe. Leaders there gathering in Paris today for an emergency summit to plan their response. The Trump administration detonating decades of US foreign policy, not just in Europe, but also in the Middle East, where hours ago, Rubio met with the Saudi Crown Prince in an effort to push Trump's idea of a US-controlled Gaza Strip, promising to build the Riviera of the Middle East. Linsey, with talks between the US and Russia set to take place in Saudi Arabia without either Ukraine or key European partners, they're all now scrambling and holding emergency meetings, separate bilaterals, because they don't like what they're hearing and seeing right now from the US. Linsey?
Ian, thank you. Joining us now for more is Mick Mulroy, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, retired CIA officer and U.S. Marine, and ABC News national security and defense analyst. You wear a lot of hats, which makes you perfect to ask this first question. Russia meeting one-on-one with the United States. How is this a clear win for Vladimir Putin?
So, Linsey, Russia has been a pariah, an international pariah for many years. And so just having this meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, with the National Security Advisor, is a win for Russia, and they'll view this as their way to come off of that type of standing and get back onto the world stage. But that doesn't mean it's going to go their way, but it certainly is something that they wanted to see.
And we know that European leaders have been deeply unsettled by the Trump administration's foreign policy shift, sidelining Ukraine for now and making early concessions to Russia. Those leaders held an emergency meeting in Paris today. What did they discuss?
So I think it was about two different things. One, of course, not being invited to this meeting. Europe, under the plan as laid out by General Kellogg, the special envoy for President Trump, is going to play a pivotal role. They're going to have forces in the demilitarized zones to ensure that the cessation of hostility continues. And if they're going to do that, they obviously need to agree or not agree with the plan as it's laid out. So they believe they should be there. The other part is their concern about NATO and the future of NATO. They're talking today about the need to significantly increase European military capacity. And that should have been done a while ago, and it's good that it is happening. It's not good for Russia. It's good for NATO. But I think this has to do with the recent comments out of the Trump administration about Europe and the future of NATO. But it is something that I think the Europeans are very concerned about.
As we heard there in Ian Panel's reporting, Ukraine will not recognize any agreements made without them. So what comes next after the talks?
So this could be a phased approach where the U.S. wants to meet with Russia first, and then we'll bring in Ukraine and hopefully our European allies, because it's going to take all of those groups to come to a decision. Obviously, Ukraine has to be part of it. They're one of two parties to the conflict, and anything that it's going to happen or not happen needs to be agreed to by Ukraine. So this might be just the first opening part of that. It would seem to me that it would be helpful to tell Ukraine that they would be coming in next, as with Europe, and it doesn't seem to be the case. But that might be what the plan actually is.
All right, well, we will find out soon enough, I imagine. Mick Mulroy, our thanks to you. Coming up, an update on the illness that forced Latin pop superstar Shakira to cancel 2 shows on her world tour. And next, tomorrow, the jury in the A$AP Rocky trial begins deliberations. We have a breakdown of the case and what the jury will need to consider in our prime focus.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
Mr. President.
You were the last person to see the president alive.
He was trying to warn me.
Agent Collins,
you're the only one I really trust.
and I want to tell you the truth.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something.
You're going to want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson, all right? I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
Jalen Hurts, you and the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
Wendy Williams, facing her new reality, life under guardianship. Now, the all-new interview with Wendy.
Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm still in prison, so to speak.
And the diagnosis of dementia.
Wendy, my next question, if I may. Do you think you have dementia?
No, it's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. How dare you?
An army of devoted fans taking up her cause.
She should be able to enjoy her life the way she wants to enjoy her life.
Ain't nothing wrong with Wendy Williams.
What's happening with Wendy Williams, now streaming on Hulu.
Lifestyle was an innovator. They sounded like nothing else sounds. They were doing church, blues, soul, funk, rock. So I was the creator,
writer,
producer,
thinker,
poet.
His songs have been sampled by tons of artists.
He opened a portal. Oh yeah, come this way.
Welcome back, everyone. Rapper A$AP Rocky is on trial for 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, accused of firing a gun at a former friend. With the jury set to start deliberating tomorrow, there are key details in the case they'll have to consider. Do they believe the rapper's claims of the gun simply being a prop? And how important is it that neither side has presented a firearm as evidence? As the case has unfolded, A$AP Rocky's partner, singer and mogul Rihanna, has appeared in court as well, even bringing their children on occasion. ABC's Alex Stone has the details.
Tonight, A$AP Rocky's criminal trial now in the hands of the jury. The Grammy-nominated hip-hop star charged with 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Prosecutors alleging he fired 2 shots from a handgun at a former friend, A$AP Rocky, after the two had a confrontation outside of a Hollywood hotel.
That night in Hollywood, did Mr. Mayers have a real gun or a fake gun?
The burden of proof is on the prosecution, and they must prove beyond reasonable doubt that all of the allegations made actually happened. And if there's any concerns about there really being a weapon that was used by A$AP Rocky, then the prosecution is going to lose.
A$AP Rocky's defense claimed the gun was actually a prop that only fired blanks, saying the rapper was carrying it as a security precaution and that everybody involved knew it.
Like I said, he carried it to deter violence, and then on November 6th, after the incident, it obviously didn't work, and he decided to get actual armed security. He didn't want to carry it.
But A$AP Rocky, whose legal name is Terrell Efron, claimed on the witness stand his knuckles were grazed by one of the bullets.
He pointed at me, and then that's when Elijah was like in between, and he's like, "I'll kill you right now," or like whatever, like just was. And then I'm right behind Elijah, and I'm saying, "If you brought a gun, use it then."
No gun or prop was ever found by law enforcement or presented as evidence by either side. Officers who searched the area after a report of a shooting found no physical evidence. But it was Relly himself who went to the police days later and had 2 shell casings he said he picked up after returning to that scene.
When I went back and found the bullets, I tried to kill me, tried to take me away from my daughter.
Either LAPD is incredibly incompetent, or there's something incredibly nefarious about the victim doing his own police investigation and coming up with the critical missing piece of evidence. I think that's a problem for the prosecution.
The scuffle was partially captured on blurry surveillance videos, not clear enough to easily interpret. Friends testified Rocky fired the shots as a warning to stop A$AP Rocky from attacking another member of their crew.
Ills is trying to calm Rocky down, calm him down some way. And I guess it's not working. So I guess we walk a few more feet, and then I hear like fast steps. So I turn around and I see Rel hit Ills.
How many times did you see him hit him?
I see him hit at least like twice. So after the second hit, Rel tried to hit me, and I moved, and then Relly hit Ills again. That's when Rocky shot down with the prop gun to scare Relly off.
The prosecution argued that A$AP Rocky coached the witnesses that testified on his behalf, and he maintained that A$AP Rocky gave credible testimony about being shot at twice by A$AP Rocky. But the prosecution's case has a lot of holes, a lot of inconsistencies in the testimony.
The prosecution's case rests largely on the credibility of A$AP Rocky's testimony, which was called into question by the defense legal team and witnesses.
It was Relly who was acting crazy and screaming 4 and 12. So why would Rocky suddenly go from 0 to 100 for no reason at all, just shoot him? But when I asked questions of Relly, I got speeches, insults, not answers. Who's the aggressor in this encounter?
Relly.
Okay. Is that why you told Rocky to leave?
Yes.
A$AP Rocky, born Rakeem Mayers, became friends with A$AP Rocky in high school. In New York, were both were members of a crew of creatives called the A$AP Mob. Their friendship continued after Rocky first gained global fame with a pair of #1 albums in 2012 and 2013. But their bond eventually turned into beef.
Me personally, I never had a problem with him, but I think he had a problem with me.
Courtroom testimony was heated at times, squabbles erupting between the two sides on multiple occasions.
Your Honor, one more thing out of him, and we air everything that's happened in this case, which the court's aware of. Stop. He might want to stop.
I'm so threatened.
You should be, Joe.
You're not going to show me something of my highlights, which is not there. You think you slick.
Stop. This is,
you're not going to keep tripping me up. I'm on
Trevron! Stop! Just stop talking!
If convicted, A$AP Rocky faces up to 24 years in prison. A$AP Rocky's longtime partner Rihanna making several appearances during the trial, bringing the pair's 2 toddler sons to watch. The superstar musicians left the courthouse together after closing arguments, walking arm in arm.
Rihanna has this larger-than-life brand, this major cosmetic and lingerie company, this major recording career. Why would she stake her career and attach her career to someone that's guilty of a crime? So it sends a subtle message that A$AP Rocky is to be believed, because if the biggest icon on the planet, or one of the biggest, believes him, the message is you jurors too should believe him.
A lot more time than what was offered in his plea deal. Our thanks to Alex Stone for that. Coming up, the race to rescue 2 climbers trapped in an avalanche, the dangerous ordeal they endured before being found. And which former or current White House occupant is the most popular? This President's Day, we take a look at who has the highest favorability by the numbers.
From Pixar comes an all-new original series.
Everyone is chasing the feeling of a win.
Hey, Lori, you're famous.
But if someone wins,
you're not funny.
Somebody has to lose.
What did I just do?
One story.
Hey, Lori!
No matter what happens, you are all winners. Told from 8 sides.
We'll make it work.
We always do.
Better not blow it.
Disney Pixar's Win or Lose. Available February 19th only on Disney+.
Slicestone was an innovator.
They sounded like nothing else sounds. They were doing church, blues, soul, funk, rock. So I was the creator,
writer,
producer,
thinker,
poet.
His songs have been sampled by tons of artists.
He opened the portal. Oh yeah, come this way.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife.
Everybody loved her.
I
heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! The all-new shocking episode of Scamanda, Thursday night on ABC.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state, and that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live, right there, as events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson. All right, I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
Mr. President?
You were the last person to see the president alive.
Pin's trying to warn me.
Agent Collins, you're the only one I really trust, and I want to tell you the truth.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something. You're gonna want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
This version of me. America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what? The View. I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
From the 2024 campaign trail in Erie, Pennsylvania, I'm Rachel Scott. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
It was a kidnapping, torture case.
A crime of greed and cruelty.
The men tortured the victim by beating, tasing, and burning him.
And this is where it gets really horrible. The guy was cutting off my roommates. It was like a bad dream.
This crime was horrific.
He's a psychopath.
How could you possibly defend somebody like that?
This was a story about greed, sadism, evil.
Wicked Game, Devil in the Desert, only on Hulu. Wendy Williams, facing her new reality, life under guardianship. Now, the all-new interview with Wendy.
Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm still in prison, so to speak.
And the diagnosis of dementia.
Wendy, my next question, if I may. Do you think you have dementia?
No. It's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. How dare you?
An army of devoted fans taking up her cause.
She should be able to enjoy her life the way she wants to enjoy her life.
Ain't nothing wrong with Wendy Williams.
What's happening with Wendy Williams, now streaming on Hulu.
I'd never seen that many skeletal remains. Thousands.
This killer, he's the Dahmer you've never heard of.
There were mannequins, almost like it was a club.
I felt the presence of evil.
Never before a face-to-face interview with a camera.
Why now?
Let me ask you, am I the evil culprit, the accomplice?
I'd like to know how the audience views me.
The Fox Hollow Murders, Playground of a Serial Killer, only on Hulu.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
We need a symbol that can unite us.
Wait for it. Save some for us, Cap.
Let's go.
Captain America, caught in a trap.
You want me? Come and get me!
Captain America: Brave New World. Rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife.
Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers. We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! The all-new shocking episode of Scamanda, Thursday night on ABC. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson, all right? I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara, Ginger.
Jalen Hurts, you and the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
Wendy Williams facing her new reality, life under guardianship. Now, the all-new interview with Wendy.
Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm still in prison, so to speak.
And the diagnosis of dementia.
Wendy, my next question, if I may. Do you think you have dementia?
No. It's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. How dare you?
An army of devoted fans taking up her cause.
She should be able to enjoy her life the way she wants to enjoy her life.
Ain't nothing wrong with Wendy Williams.
What's happening with Wendy Williams, now streaming on Hulu.
Lifestyle was an innovator.
They sounded like nothing else sounds. They were doing church, blues, soul, funk, rock. So I was the creator,
Writer,
producer,
thinker,
poet.
His songs have been sampled by tons of artists.
He opened the portal. Oh yeah, come this way.
We need a symbol that can unite us.
Wait for it.
Save some for us, Cap.
Let's go. Oh.
Captain America, caught in a trap.
You want me? Come and get me!
Captain America: Brave New World. Rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
I'd never seen that many skeletal remains. Thousands.
This killer, he's the Dahmer you've never heard of.
There were mannequins, almost like it was a club.
I felt the presence of evil.
Never before a face-to-face interview with the camera.
Why now?
Let me ask you, am I the evil culprit, the accomplice?
I'd like to know how the audience views me.
The Fox Hollow Murders, playground of a serial killer. Only on Hulu.
What's good to watch? Read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America. Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here at Columbia University.
Here in downtown Port-au-Prince.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
The growing concern about a measles outbreak, 2 ice climbers trapped in an avalanche, and the health scare that forced Shakira to postpone her shows. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
A measles outbreak in West Texas is growing, the largest in the state in 30 years. There are at least 48 cases so far. Health officials say all of the patients are either unvaccinated or their vaccination status is unknown. They also say more cases are expected due to the highly contagious nature of the disease. New Mexico is also reporting 3 unrelated cases. Egg prices have reached a record high as the United States deals with a growing bird flu outbreak. The average price for a dozen eggs is nearly $5. That's a 50% increase from a year ago and 80 cents more than just last month. The spread of bird flu has led to the slaughter of hundreds of millions of birds in the last 3 years, while increasing the price of eggs for consumers at grocery stores and restaurants. 2 ice climbers had to be rescued after getting stuck in an avalanche on a New Hampshire mountain Sunday. Authorities said when the 2 climbers reached the base of their planned route, the snowpack gave way, causing an avalanche. Authorities said one climber slid about 300 feet before he came to a stop and became partially buried. After officers rescued the climbers, they took themselves to the hospital. The extent of their injuries is unknown. Spanish-language superstar Shakira says an abdominal issue landed her in the emergency room over the weekend, causing her to cancel 2 shows in Peru. In a social media post on Sunday, the international superstar said she was hospitalized and under the care of doctors, telling her Peruvian fans she would not be able to perform at her shows scheduled for Sunday and Monday. She also added her team and concert promoters were working on a new date for the shows. Earlier this month, Shakira won the Grammy for Best Latin Pop Album. Officials in Wyoming say at least 3 people were killed in a deadly accident inside a tunnel. They are now conducting a vehicle-to-vehicle search after a crash sparked a fire inside the tunnel that completely destroyed 6 commercial vehicles and 2 passenger vehicles. Wyoming Highway Patrol says they have removed most of the vehicles from the tunnel, but some still remain inside. Engineers are not sure when the tunnel will be reopened.
Maldita sabandija, cuánto daño me has hecho.
Paquita La Del Barrio, the legendary Mexican singer and songwriter best known for her bold personality songs like Rata de Dos Patas, has passed away at the age of 77. Paquita broke barriers in the Mexican ranchera genre, which is typically dominated by men. For many, she was the queen and defender of women, as her songs often talked about female empowerment. Paquita, whose real name was Francisca Viveros Baradas, died in her home in Veracruz, Mexico.
Every President's Day weekend, a very select group of people descend on sunny Key West. They talk policy and politics, laugh about the past, muse over the future, and the tie that binds them is that they are all direct descendants of presidents. From McKinley to Carter, Roosevelt to Eisenhower. Our Alex Perche was there for their annual meetup and brings us their story.
History books are filled with their last names.
Clifton Truman Daniel, Harry Truman's oldest grandson.
James Earl Carter IV. I'm Jimmy Carter's grandson.
I'm Mary Jean Eisenhower. I'm Dwight Eisenhower's youngest grandchild.
Massey McKinley, William McKinley's great-great-nephew, and Grover Cleveland's great-great-grandson.
I'm Tweed Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt's great-grandson.
And Ulysses Grant Dietz, I'm the youngest great-great-grandchild of Ulysses and Julia Grant.
If you didn't tell me, I'd have no clue.
They belong to a club that you literally have to be born into, the Society of Presidential Descendants. And every year on President's Day, this fraternity links up in scenic Key West, Florida, at a historic spot called the Little White House for a reunion of first families.
The first time we did anything like this was in 2010 with Margaret Hoover, President Hoover's great-granddaughter, and her husband. And the next year we added Susan Ford and Lucy Baines Johnson. And it just sort of, now we have a waiting list.
Do you?
No.
Is there a board for accepting?
Clifton made an annual request that we come. And I mean, who's going to turn down the opportunity to come to Key West and talk about presidential descendants and how we're all related?
Since 2018, the group has met annually and amassed 75 direct descendants from 26 presidents.
And we do have a friends category, so.
Can I be a friend?
You can be a friend.
Absolutely. Anybody can be a friend.
Now don't say that.
Okay, we have
you
to like
just insulted it.
I appreciate that.
It's a grumpy crew here.
The unwritten criteria to become a member? A love of fellowship and laughter.
Every family has a crazy uncle, that comes and does it. But so far, we haven't had any crazy uncles join this family.
Oh, you don't know about mine.
Oh, yeah.
So much of America's history is part of their family history.
Susan Ford, I think it was said, I wasn't sure, but the job was sort of twofold. One, to keep up with the legacy, your ancestors' legacy, to preserve that, promote it, defend it. But the second part of the job is to do something with it on your own, make it your own in some way.
Part of the preservation is sharing stories with eager audiences at Harry Truman's second home. The Little White House is a museum now, but Clifton used to come here with his grandparents in the 60s.
People ask, what were your grandfather's great decision? Was it the Marshall Plan? Was it Point 4? Was it the Truman Doctrine? No, picking Key West for a vacation spot so his grandchildren can still come down here.
Their names carry a lot of benefits and a lot of responsibility. Tweed recounted being held to a higher standard in school, all because of his last name.
Mr. Roosevelt, it's all right for the other boys to do that, but it's not all right for you to do it. That was the most valuable lesson I learned in all of my 4 years at college. Some people join the Army, some people do this, some people do that. We're stuck with, but are happy to do this.
We're stuck with this.
Well, Tweed was just talking about being stuck with the name. How many times do you meet another Ulysses?
Right. I was one of 41 great-great-grandchildren, but I was the only Ulysses in my generation. It's never been a popular name, even in the family. Because my name is Ulysses, I became the torchbearer. So people will say, oh, well, they're historians, but we want you to talk because your name's Ulysses. So you have to back that up with some self-education.
This is a support system. When Jimmy Carter became the oldest president in U.S. history at 100, James was joined by fellow descendants to celebrate.
I mean, I had a heart attack back in July, and all of these friends, contacted me and were there for me. So, of course, they're family.
They come from Republicans and Democrats, but party affiliation has never slowed the mission.
How do you escape the policy discussions?
We don't. I mean, we do and we don't. We try not to wallow in it, and we listen to each other and we try to be supportive. But we've all been talking lately, given the state of the world. So we're missing something that, if we're lucky, we'll be able to put some of it back.
I think it's fairly common knowledge that Truman and my grandfather had a riff, later on in their lives, and we've talked it out, And not only have we discovered that they made up, but we decided that we straightened our grandparents out.
One of the things that all of our ancestors had in common was a great love for the country, a great respect for the institution of the presidency, regardless of politics. And that's something that we all share as well.
At the heart of this group is the respect for the institution.
Even after he ran for president and won,
they're trying to make their famous last names their own, pushing the legacy forward, especially this holiday.
And President's Day is an opportunity to begin to remind people of what their civic duties are. Everybody seems to know their rights, but they seem to have forgotten that those rights come with duties. One of the things we're trying to do is help Americans understand what their role is so that democracy will survive.
Very interesting. Our thanks to Alex Perche for that. That is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up, the latest on that crash involving a Delta plane from Minneapolis to Toronto, the survivors, and the investigation ahead, and the major shakeup in New York City's mayor's office.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife. Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers.
We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! The all-new shocking episode of Scamanda, Thursday night on ABC.
Jalen Hurts, you and the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
What's good to watch, read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
I love this version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first. I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what? The View. I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson, all right? I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
I'd never seen that many skeletal remains. Thousands.
This killer, he's the Dahmer you've never heard of.
There were mannequins, almost like it was a club.
I felt the presence of evil.
Never before a face-to-face interview with a camera.
Why now?
Let me ask you, am I the evil culprit, the accomplice?
I'd like to know how the audience views me.
The Fox Hollow Murders, playground of a serial killer, only on Hulu.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin with the stunning images of that Delta flight out of Minneapolis crashing at the Toronto Pearson Airport. The plane flipped upside down on the tarmac, its landing gear pointing to the sky. You see it there. Smoke seen coming from the fuselage. At least one wing also appears to be badly damaged or missing altogether. Tonight, first responders say all 76 passengers and 4 crew members are accounted for. At least 15 people are injured, including 2 people in critical condition. Everyone on board, though, was able to evacuate. Air traffic controller telling other pilots about people outside walking around the aircraft. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. There were icy conditions on the runway, and winds at the time were gusting at more than 40 miles per hour. Our team is standing by to break it all down. Gio Benitez leads us off.
Tonight, these dramatic images show a Delta plane flipped upside down, smoke pouring out of the fuselage, the plane crash landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Passenger John Nelson shooting this video moments after the crash.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site.
The Delta Regional CRJ 900, operated by Endeavour Air, traveling from Minneapolis-St. Paul with 80 people on board, arriving in Toronto around 2:45 p.m.
We just had a crash on runway 23 here.
Emergency crews racing to the scene, 15 people transported to area hospitals, one of them a pediatric patient, a man in his 60s and a woman in her 40s critically injured. Remarkably, no one killed.
When it came to a halt, everybody is upside down. So there are going to be injuries just getting the seatbelts out and falling to the ceiling and getting out that way.
Passengers seen escaping the aircraft.
Most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
Just so you are, there's people outside walking around the aircraft there. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft there's upside down and burning.
Ron James witnessing the smoke from inside the airport.
Seen a bunch of smoke, and then we've seen some fire trucks go, and then I seen a trolley carrying a helicopter, and wondered what was going on. And I got to the door of my plane, and they just said we're not going anywhere.
Fire damage seen along the back of the plane. The airport shut down for hours. And there are already questions about how winds and wintry weather may have impacted the crash. The tarmac blanketed with snow. Winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour around the time of landing. And it comes just weeks after 67 people were killed in that horrific crash over the Potomac between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines plane. And that medical jet crash in Philadelphia that killed 6 people on board and 1 person on the ground. While back in Toronto tonight, this major investigation is now underway.
All right, our thanks to Gio for that. There's still so much more to learn about just what went wrong in the last-minute maneuvers that may have saved those lives. For that, let's get right to ABC transportation reporter Sam Sweeney and ABC News contributor and former Air Force pilot John Nance. Thank you both so much for joining us again. Sam, of course, you heard that presser a little while ago. What details did we learn from that?
17 people were taken to the hospital, and most of them will be okay, I should say all of them will be okay. They say that there are no fatalities, and everybody is expected to make a recovery, including that child who was airlifted to the hospital. And this really is a miraculous situation, but it speaks volume to how safe air travel is and how safe it's become over the last decades because all of the changes that have been made. But investigators are going to want to figure out exactly what happened here so they can prevent it from happening again.
And John, we talked about this earlier. That press conference was short, sweet, to the point. We didn't get any answers about what caused the plane to flip over. Of course, it just happened a few hours ago. Is it possible that they wouldn't have any idea yet? And how soon might that be answered?
Well, I think it's very possible that all of us have certain ideas that will be kind of parsed through, and certainly the board will. But the basic idea is it's a difference between probability and possibility. There are a lot of possibilities, but there are very few probabilities. One of them is definitely going to be the interaction of the weather here, the high winds, the turbulence, etc. But how that comes together with these other links in the causal chain, that's going to take a while to figure out.
And John, how are pilots trained to deal with sudden disasters like this?
Well, you're trained basically. There's a whole matrix of training that goes into minimizing the variables by doing things in a predictable way. That's why we use checklists. That's why we have particular procedures that we go over all the time. And that's so that really, if there is a terrible circumstance of one sort or another, you've got more of your brain ready to be able to handle it, a non-standard situation, because all these other things are relatively taken care of. And there's muscle memory, which is very important too. And that's the sort of thing that gives a pilot the capability of making a left turn or a right turn or increasing the attitude immediately when he or she feels that this is necessary. It all goes into the training, and the training is very good.
And Sam, that crash scene, it really is frightening just to see that plane on its back, really on the tarmac there. Thankfully, no fatalities. What do we know about the evacuation and rescue operations? What worked so well here?
This was a textbook evacuation, and it's what flight attendants trained to do, what the pilots trained to do, and why they spend so much time briefing those emergency exit aisle people to help in the event of an evacuation. Look, they want you to keep your window shades up so they can look out and see where the fire is and then use the appropriate exits. Planes, when they're certified, you need to be able to get out of those exits only in 90 seconds using only half of the exits because of the potential for fire. We hear in these social media videos the flight attendant shouting at passengers, leave your luggage behind, leave your cell phones, stop recording, just focus on getting out of this airplane and getting away from that plane as quickly as possible. It appears that everybody followed those instructions in those precious seconds as that plane was on fire, and they ran out and they were all able to get out alive. And that's what's most important tonight.
Sure, because had they not, there could have been a totally different outcome tonight. Sam Sweeney, John Nance, thank you both so much for your time and insight. Deadly storms across multiple states have made travel a major headache. 140 million people are now under alerts for extreme cold weather, with a new storm taking shape beginning tomorrow. Kentucky declared a state of emergency after at least 11 people were killed in the flooding there, and the Northeast is now under high wind warnings from Philadelphia to New York to Boston. Wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. Ginger Z has the forecast in a moment, but first, Alex Perez reports from Kentucky.
Tonight, the death toll rising from a powerful system that's now wreaking havoc across the Northeast. Winds gusting over 70 miles an hour in some spots, taking down telephone poles in South Jersey, and huge trees all over New York City. This one crushing a home in Queens.
I thought a tornado came through.
This man's car in the Bronx totaled.
It's insane, you know?
In Northeast Philadelphia, neighbors mourning a woman who was killed when a tree crushed her car overnight.
Good, sweet, kind woman, churchly, care for everyone, had a big heart.
In Detroit, icy water inundating homes after a 4.5-foot water main burst open on the city's southwest side this morning. More than 75 people had to be brought to safety, many of them children. Over the weekend, first responders in Kentucky rescuing more than 1,000 people from floodwaters after storms dumped more than 8 inches of rain in some spots. Carrie Guy and her 2 teenagers evacuated her flooded riverfront home Sunday, but doesn't know when she'll be back.
Moving everything out is one thing. It's the 3 inches of mud that is left when it goes out. Cleanup is the worst.
Tonight, a new storm with heavy snow is taking aim at the south. 140 million people are now under alerts for extreme cold. Let's get right to ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, who's timing this all out for us. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, we already saw gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour from Newark, New Jersey to Boston, and that was behind the weekend storm. We've still got some wind alerts on the map for the next couple of hours, but winds will relax by tonight. You also have those lake effect snow warnings in western New York. That's for an additional up to 2 feet of snow, so that's a big one. Let's go ahead and turn to the wider picture, and there are alerts all the way from Virginia Beach back to Wichita, Kansas, and that's for the next storm that we'll be timing out here for you. So let's dive in, and it really gets going tomorrow across I-40. This thing's going to travel, and I'd be concerned if you were going tomorrow morning, say Wichita up to Kansas City, or by tomorrow evening, Little Rock up into the Ozarks, where some of the heaviest snow will be falling right along that state line of Arkansas and Missouri. Nashville's going to have a tough morning commute by Wednesday morning, and that's with that 3 to 6 inches of snow. As it keeps traveling east, Raleigh up to Norfolk going to be in that snowy side. Roanoke, you get it too, some of the higher totals with the elevation there. Now, Let's talk about the cold that comes in behind this, because this is not just no joke, but we're talking about records that could fall for daily record lows both Wednesday and Thursday morning. But you add the wind, and this is what it'll feel like. Sub-zero wind chills as far south as North Texas, like around Dallas. Look at those single digits. And up in the northern plains, our friends north of Minneapolis say, Linsey, this is the type of cold that causes frostbite to exposed skin in as little as 5 minutes.
Even without the negative signs, those numbers are seriously cold. Ginger Z, our thanks to you as always. There's a potential Supreme Court battle brewing over Elon Musk's reshaping of the federal government. With President Trump's approval, Musk's team is now trying to gain access to an IRS data system and the personal tax information of millions of Americans. Amid mass layoffs involving thousands of government workers, critics are now arguing that without Senate confirmation, his role is unconstitutional. Here's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott.
Tonight, the White House on the defensive after Elon Musk's team requested access to an IRS system that contains the personal information of millions of Americans, including their tax filings and bank statements. Top administration officials insist it doesn't mean Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency will go sifting through private tax returns of individuals.
I can give absolute 100% insurance. I give you complete and total assurance on that point.
This as the president and Musk proceed with sweeping layoffs of thousands of federal workers. At the IRS, sources tell us 15,000 workers have been identified for possible termination, with tax season just around the corner. And we are learning Trump has fired hundreds of people at the Federal Aviation Administration, just weeks after that deadly crash at Washington's Reagan Airport. The firings touching more than a dozen agencies, including the Departments of Homeland Security, Veterans Affairs, and the Centers for Disease Control. Victoria says she was laid off from the Forest Service in Montana.
I was devastated. I've built my whole life around this. I mean, I've worked for 10 years to get this job finally.
She says the layoffs have rocked her whole community.
Down with Project 2025! Elon Musk doesn't even know my job exists, right? But like, we do a lot. I mean, I'm a public servant, and I do this job because I love it. So yeah, I'm devastated, and my whole community lost their jobs, and I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Other government workers like Elizabeth Anaskevich, who worked for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, described a disorganized, chaotic process that left her with so little information, she says she can't even file for unemployment.
We were just basically tossed out on the streets, and so that has been angering and heartbreaking. And our pay stopped the day we got the termination letter. So we're all without a paycheck as of Tuesday.
A lot of confusion there. Our thanks to Rachel Scott for that. Tonight, the U.S. and Russia are beginning high-stakes talks to try to end the war in Ukraine. But Ukraine was not invited to participate, and European leaders are now holding emergency meetings of their own, concerned by what they're hearing and seeing. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell.
Russia's war in Ukraine is raging. Nearly 3 long years of death and destruction. But tonight, for the first time, a high-stakes meeting to discuss a possible end to the war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio touching down in Saudi Arabia, set to meet with Russian officials tomorrow. These talks, the first in-person discussion between Russia and the US since the war started. Notably absent from these discussions, US allies in Europe and, more importantly, Ukraine. Rubio, accompanied by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. As well as discussing Ukraine, they'll try to lay the groundwork for a future meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. The talks come just days after the two leaders spoke for more than an hour on the phone.
We're moving along. We're trying to get a peace with Russia and Ukraine, and we're working very hard on it. It's a war that should have never started.
Ukrainian President Zelensky visiting Saudi Arabia Wednesday, but he's not invited to the meeting between the US and Russia. Tonight, saying he won't recognize any agreements made without Ukraine, and warning Trump in a phone call last week that Putin can't be trusted. The dialogue with Russia sending shockwaves across Europe. Leaders there gathering in Paris today for an emergency summit to plan their response. The Trump administration detonating decades of US foreign policy, not just in Europe, but also in the Middle East, where hours ago, Rubio met with the Saudi Crown Prince in an effort to push Trump's idea of a US-controlled Gaza Strip, promising to build the Riviera of the Middle East.
Our thanks to Ian Pannell. Pope Francis has been hospitalized since Friday. The Vatican giving a broad diagnosis saying he has a respiratory tract infection, but was well enough this morning to receive the Eucharist and do some work. Our chief international correspondent James Longman joins us now from Rome. So, James, the Vatican press office has been rather shy with details. How serious do we believe the Pope's condition is?
Well, a little earlier we did have our latest update, and like you say, shy with details. They called his condition stationary, so no worse, no better. Earlier in the day, though, they did call this a complex clinical picture, which might suggest that he's dealing with more than one kind of infection, perhaps bacterial and viral. Anyone who's had a chest infection will know that that's not uncommon. So that could be the case, but a lot of this is guesswork at this point. What we do know is he's been prescribed complete rest, which I think that is the main takeaway from this entire situation. Pope Francis doesn't like being told to stop, and he tried to work his way through this illness over the week before. He had to stop and catch his breath on 2 occasions whilst reading in public, and I think that's what worried people. Look, he's 88 years old. He had part of a lung removed when he was younger, so every precaution is being taken here. What we do know, though, is that he has cancelled his appearances for the next week, but it could be that his doctors and his advisors are trying to get him to rest as much as possible, because next month, Easter, the most important time in the Catholic calendar, so perhaps just trying to get as much rest as possible before that. But for the moment, Pope Francis is resting.
And they say a resting body is a healing body. All right, James, our thanks to you. Here in New York City tonight, the firestorm around Mayor Eric Adams is growing after the Justice Department dropped the corruption case against him. 4 top deputies have now resigned. Here's ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky.
Protests over New York Mayor Eric Adams and his cooperation with the Trump administration are getting louder, and tonight they're coming from the top ranks of his own administration. 4 deputy mayors, including the ones who oversee public safety and public health, are resigning to stay faithful to the oaths we swore. Adams saying in a statement, "I am disappointed to see them go." It comes just days after 7 federal prosecutors quit in protest of an order to dismiss corruption charges against the mayor. Now, former U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon accused Adams and the Justice Department of letting the mayor off the hook in exchange for helping President Trump with mass deportations. Adams denies there was any such promise, but Trump's border czar publicly leaned on him to deliver.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, where the hell is the agreement we came to?
Tonight, the mayor is defying calls to resign.
The reason I'm not going to break, because I need to fight for you. They want to fight me, I'm going to fight for you.
Aaron Katursky reporting. Coming up, a long-awaited arrest in a case of a female Irish tourist killed in India.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife. Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers.
We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! The all-new shocking episode of Scamanda, Thursday night on ABC.
From Pixar comes an all-new original series.
Everyone is chasing the feeling of a win.
Hey, Lori, you're famous.
But if someone wins,
you're not funny.
Somebody has to lose. What did I just do?
One story.
Hey,
no matter what happens, you are all winners. Told from 8 sides.
We'll make it work.
We always do.
Better not blow it.
Disney Pixar's Win or Lose. Available February 19th only on Disney+.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state, and that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live.
Right there, as events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
What's good to watch, read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Wherever the story is,
we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
I'm Whit Johnson, reporting from Maui. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Families are returning home after fleeing the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo following clashes between rebels and armed Congolese forces. Rebel groups have captured more territory recently, giving them control of some mineral deposits. Congo is the world's top producer of cobalt, a key component in batteries for electric vehicles and mobile phones. Nearly 8 years later, an Indian court has sentenced a 31-year-old man to life in prison for the rape and murder of a female Irish tourist. Officials say the 28-year-old victim befriended the suspect while she was visiting the country in 2017. Her body was later found in a forested area of a nearby beach with multiple injuries. Argentinian lawyers filed criminal fraud complaints against the country's President Javier Milei for promoting a cryptocurrency on his social media. He posted Friday about a coin, but deleted it a few hours later, and the value of the currency collapsed. Prosecutors believe that he was part of a plan to lure investors and then abandon the coin after it became overpriced, making the tokens worthless. But the president's office said Milei was not involved in the cryptocurrency's development and removed the post to avoid speculation. And stay with us. Up next, civil rights icon, activist, author, and speaker Ruby Bridges is in studio to talk about her newest project.
I love this version of me. America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it.
I'm all in. Second that.
We want to take you to Toronto, Canada now, where the fire chief there is giving an update on that Delta Airlines crash at Toronto Airport. Let's listen in.
Appropriate for us to comment at this time. However, I can speak to you about our aircraft rescue and firefighting services response. 3 of our stations in the airport operating area responded with aircraft fire and rescue apparatus, plus Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services quickly responded with 6 engines, 2 district chiefs, a command vehicle, and a tanker. Peel Regional Paramedic Services responded with 18 paramedic units. Upon arrival, my team conducted fire suppression. Self-evacuation was already taking place. At this time, we believe all our emergency response went as planned. We will, however, be conducting a review. This is an active investigation. It's very early on. It's really important that we do not speculate. What we can say is the runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions. We also want to give an update. We can now confirm that 18 injured passengers have been transported to the local area hospitals. We had 1 additional passenger recently transported to the hospital. We will all be supporting the ongoing investigation by the Transportation Safety Board. Thank you to our teams at Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services, Peel Police and Peel Regional Paramedic Services, and all other responders that responded on the scene. And now we'll be passing it over to Peel Police. Thank you.
Good. My name is Wahid Butt. I am the superintendent in charge of the division, Peel Regional Police. As the police of jurisdiction, we assisted in today's response. We have secured the site and will continue to provide security and offer any assistance needed. We would like to thank other GTA police services that are assisting us today.
Thank you both. There will be no more formal news conferences tonight, but we are scheduled to provide an update tomorrow. We will provide information on that. We will also be posting operational updates on our social medias throughout the night as well. For media who are coming to the airport, we ask you to continue to stage at 311 Convair Drive. Thank you.
So we just heard there from the fire chief who said that it's not appropriate to speculate at this time. It's still early on. Went on to say, though, that the runway was dry and no crosswind conditions. I want to get right to ABC transportation reporter Sam Sweeney and ABC News contributor, former Air Force pilot John Nance. Sam, give us your reaction to hearing that they said that the runway was dry and there were no crosswind conditions.
Yeah, that's certainly something that the Transportation Safety Board of Canada and the National Transportation Safety Board are going to be looking at, the runway conditions, the weather. But now that we know that he's saying it was dry and no wind, that sort of rules that out. But they will still look at that as part of their investigation. But possibly, was this a mechanical failure or was this pilot error? We don't know. It is simply too early. They will only base it on facts, and we likely will not learn that tomorrow as well. They're going to go through this methodically. They're going to go work through the perishable evidence, the evidence that will disappear in the coming hours and coming days. They're going to start interviewing the pilots to understand what they saw, what they experienced, and then the flight attendants and, of course, the passengers as well to figure out what went wrong and put this puzzle together.
And John, your reaction, is that a surprise to you at all?
Well, it is a surprise in this regard, and this is why I caution the early things we think we know, we don't necessarily know. The weather information that was being broadcast only 45 minutes after the accident showed a very stiff crosswind. So I'll be curious to see that information. But what I didn't have, and what none of us had at that time, I think was a readout at the exact moment that the aircraft touched down.
And John, give us a sense of what, at this point, you might, and again, I know as the fire chief just said, it's not appropriate to speculate, but if it was not the wind, if it was not an icy runway, where might we, again, we talked about earlier, putting together pieces of the puzzle, what do those pieces start looking like?
Well, the flight data recorder is going to be very helpful on this, as will the different cameras located all over Pearson Airport. And once the board begins to get those together, they'll have a better picture of the flight dynamics, the end of the flight dynamics, if you will. And if we don't have wind and we don't have a slick runway surface that become either of those factors in the accident, or causal factors, I should say, then you have to look at just about anything and everything else. You know, whenever somebody says, let's not speculate, well, okay, speculation to me is saying, here's the answer. We don't have that, and that's wrong. But in order to say, here are the contributing factors, yes.
Fair enough. All right, John, Sam, we thank you both so much for your time and insight here. Again, those first responders and the crew certainly being hailed heroes today for good reason. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids.